I go, there's some street rat hustling me, and I don't need it, okay? Now let me make this plain to you, kid. I come back to this car, and anything has happened to it. I'll find you and pulp your stupid, hairy head. Is there any part of that you don't understand? No, senor. Good. Now get the hell away from my Porsche. The boy scooted himself backward across the sidewalk, soaking the seat of his shorts in the water that had slopped from his bucket. When he was sure the man had gone, he lifted his face and gazed up at the concrete and glass perspective of the office building narrowing into the late afternoon sky. He felt dizzy, maybe because he was hungry. 7 floors above the street, Paul Faustino was checking the text of an article that would appear on the front page of the next day's edition of La Nación. Exclusive. Othello will sign for Rialto by Paul Faustino. The gossip mills and rumor factories can shut down. I can now reveal that Othello, the man who led this country to victory in this year's Copa America, will be a Rialto player within the week. The terms of the transfer were agreed between Rialto and Espirito Santo yesterday after Spain's Real Madrid withdrew from the contest for the striker. The deal is unlikely to be on a cash-only basis. Espirito has stolidly refused to lower its evaluation of Othello from $50 million. But details will not be disclosed prior to a formal announcement at a press conference scheduled for Thursday. My information is, however, that Rialto's popular young forward, Luis Montano, will move to Espirito to offset the fee, thus adding to the controversy that will inevitably attend this affair. We can expect a bitter reaction not only from Espirito fans, but also from many in the north, who will see Othello's move south to the capital as an act of betrayal. Faustino leaned back in his chair and massaged his lower lip with his thumb and forefinger. This was a big story. It would warm the cockles of his editor's heart, if she possessed such an organ. It would earn him a nice juicy bonus, too. He could not quite believe his luck, actually, so there was an uneasy edge to his glee. Talk of Othello leaving Espirito had begun well before the Copa America, and in recent days the hum of rumor and speculation had swollen into the voice of a vast beehive. The tabloids and sports channels had been obsessed with it. Lacking any real information, they'd put out opinionated babble, chaff. Faustino had been a journalist long enough to know that very often there is, in fact, smoke without fire. But he, too, had been pretty sure that Othello would make a move. He had to. Espirito was not a good enough club for him. They'd had another lousy season, ending up 4th from the bottom of the league, despite Othello's 23 goals, which meant that once again they wouldn't be playing in the Copa Libertadores, which in turn meant that Othello, the national captain, would go yet another season without playing an international club game. Ridiculous, obviously. Faustino was not a gambling man, but he'd have put money on Othello joining one of the big European clubs, Manchester United, say, or Barcelona. But a move south to Rialto? No way. Of all clubs, not Rialto. And then, this morning, the call from Othello's agent, Diego Mendoza, a man Faustino hardly knew. Still scrawling notes, Faustino had said, "Why me, Senor Mendoza?" "Pardon?" "I was wondering why you chose to break the news to me exclusively." "Because you are widely respected, Paul. All these rumors have caused my client a great deal of stress, as you can imagine. Only someone with your reputation can lay them to rest." "Yeah? Yes. Also, perhaps I would like to give the finger to certain other newspapers that have pissed me off." Faustino had laughed at that. "Yeah, well, that's honest." Afterward, he'd wondered about that. In Faustino's vocabulary, honest and agent were not words that normally went around holding hands. He went back to his article. Born in the North and famously proud of his African heritage, Othello has done much to silence, in stadiums at least, the racist jeers directed at black Northerners. His charity work, which includes food banks and soccer academies in the slums, has given him a status, a respect, way beyond the usual scope of soccer stars. All of this, along with his much proclaimed